Today's fly is a pale morning dun emerger that is designed to sit both in and out of the surface of the water, mimicking how a natural would struggle to free itself of its nymphal shuck in the process of emergence. Not a new idea at all. It's a very good idea, and with good ideas, they stick around for a long time. This pattern is nothing new. It's a variation of a theme that thousands have done before me. To start off with, I'm going to use a Klinkhammer competition size 16 hook, Vivus thread 14/0 in a warm brown color. And for the tail, I'm going to use Coq de Lion. I'm going to select a feather that has a nice barring color to it, like this one. I typically will prep out a few of these. It's amazing how many flies you can tie with one of these feathers. You only need a few barbels. For the body, a warm mahogany brown turkey quill, and I will use one of these biots here. For the abdomen, Nature Spirit Fine and Dry Infrequence color, carded wool. And for the shell back, I'm going to use a small light tan piece of foam. And finally, the hackle is a medium dun. I'll begin with the fly to start off with a hook in the vise and begin with thread and wrap your way down around the bend to where you're going to want that tail to stop. And I'll back off a few. I just trained my mind to see where I want to measure out the length of the tail. And I will, using a pinch wrap, get that tail started, adjust for length, and wrap back down to that point there. Lift those tail fibers up and put a thread wrap underneath it. That'll help cock that tail out a little bit. At this point, select one of your turkey quill biots. I'm going to tie it in to where the smooth edge is up and that rough ridge is down. I don't want to start back here and wind forward because that's going to be too thin of a taper. What I really want is to develop a strong taper. And so what I will find is a place where whence I start wrapping will allow me a taper. I use a water-based cement. Once this is dry, it's permanent. It's not going to undo in the water. But a tiny band on that thread, so when I wrap that thread forward, I have a solid cement base in which to wrap that quill all the way forward with. Get going with your hackle plier. If you tie with a rotary vise, this is where the rotary is really going to come in handy. You'll be able to just hold that hackle plier in place and start advancing this quill forward, being sure to conceal the fuzzy ridge, but revealing the quill-like coloring and segmentation. We only want the rear half of this fly to be that quill, and the front half to be the emerger part. And I'll go ahead and wrap a fairly good foundation, stopping at the high point. I will take this tan foam, cut a slight little wedge shape in the top of that, holding it very flat on the top. I will then bind that all down. Make sure that's centered directly on top. to tie in my hackle. To do so, I'm not going to strip the barbs off of that at all. I'm going to cut a small amount, leaving a little serrated edge right there. That's going to aid in tying this on. To tie your dry fly hackles on, tie them on perpendicular to the hook shank. Crisscross wraps, X-wrap over that. And that's really strong. Even with one turn, with that, your hackle's much stronger. Tiny little bit of dubbing. I sometimes like to just kind of demat this dubbing a little bit. Spin that onto the thread. And begin winding forward. Make sure everything stays tight. With curve shank hooks, when I get towards the front, I find it really easier for me to prevent carnage by tying the fly upside down, meaning nothing's going to slide off the hook shank, especially with these ring eye curve shank hooks. You've got a downhill slope that things just kind of fall off with gravity. So if I turn things upside down and throw in a whip finish without binding anything down, it kind of saves a disaster from happening, and disasters have happened. Don't get me wrong. Okay, now we're ready to wrap that hackle forward. 3 turns is all you need. So that's 1, 2, 3. Crossing over, I'm going to do 3 or 4 wraps. Break that thread off, or not the thread. Please don't break your thread off. I'll trim away and clean things up. If there's hackles sticking forward, get them out of there. Since this is another good time to throw in another half hitch for safety reasons. Because now, when I turn that fly up, see everything's pointing downhill? Downhill. Things want to slide off. That thread wants to slide off everything. So to get this to fish properly in the surface foam, we're gonna give it a haircut. I'm going to clean off fibers off the top, roll it around, and I'm going to trim away the fibers on the bottom. Look at it from the front, make sure it's level, perpendicular, so the fly floats square in the water. Now I'm going to pull the foam forward, and I'm not going to, don't just grab it and stretch it, pull it forward. You don't need a lot of tension on this. You can just fold that forward, place your thumb on the top. My thumbnail is kind of pushing into that foam right at my tie-off point. I can do a couple of wraps without letting go, make sure everything's straight. A couple secure wraps. And then I will whip finish my head underneath. Apply a drop of cement. Trim away. Trim away. Make sure when I'm out there fishing, I can thread my tippet through that eye. Double check for symmetry. Clean any more hackles that you don't need. Now you have a pale morning dun emerger that will float in and out of the water surface at an angle like this. And hopefully the trout will come up and snack on it for you. Thanks for watching.